Hi guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Yvonne Princess Shavangu. If you are new here, you're welcome to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And voila, you're part of the graceful, the beautiful, and the wonderful family. We're back with another book review, and we are reviewing Simplify Your Life by Cory. Such a beautiful book. It's wasteless, value for money, and it helps you grow minimalistic, right? I know a lot of us have a different view of what minimalism means, and we often think that minimalism means eliminating the things that we love the most. So today I'm going to try and educate you as possible about being minimalistic and what it can do for you and what it can do for your life, and how it can change how you love people, how you relate to people, and how you do things, and how it can effectively improve your productivity. So without wasting any of your time, we're going to go into a couple of chapters in the book and just summarize it, and I will share with you guys what I have learned, right? Do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment, and don't forget to tell your friends to tell their other friends that we've got a very good and fruitful channel on this side of the world. Just introduce them to the graceful family. And then our starting point in chapter 1, right, where I had an aha moment, was when in the introduction, right, Cory says, more than a design aesthetic, minimalism is a way of life that allows us to strip away the clutter that gets in the way of us achieving our goals. It allows us to clarify our thinking and reduce the mental chatter so that we can gain insight into ourselves, set a course for the life we really want for ourselves, right? Like I said earlier on, minimalism may sound like you have to eliminate, but minimalism means actually giving meaning to the things that are important to you, understanding why you do certain things and why you purchase certain products and why you lead your life a certain way, or why you connect with specific individuals, right? And then you have another turning point, right, whereby it tells us that minimalism is about good habits for a good life, right? You want a good life, you want to progress, you want to change. You have to start with your habits. Every change, every transformation, every good life starts with the habits. What time do you wake up? How do you treat yourself? The amount of water you drink for your health. How often do you exercise? What do you bring to the table? How much effort do you put into growing yourself and developing yourself? So it has a lot of us transforming. A lot of transforming has to do with the habits that we put in. Either good or bad habits actually impact on your transformation journey. So if you are on a transformation journey, particularly just trying to find meaning of life or meaning of the things you have, the things you do, and your behavior, this is the best book you can read. You can read it together with Atomic Habits, which will help you instill good habits. So, and then here she says, at its core, minimalism is about re-establishing what is of value in your life and letting go of everything that is not. Like I said, it's more about giving meaning to what we already have. It means focusing on what's important and recognizing what is nothing more than a distraction. It helps you actually distinguish between a distraction and what's important and what is valuable, right? And then she further on to say it means learning to listen to your own needs and investing in the greatest asset you will ever invest in, which is yourself. So it's more about listening to yourself, understanding yourself. And minimalism actually helps you know yourself better. It helps you become intentional. It helps you become deliberate, right? And then we go all the way in. We're still in the introduction. Already imagine there's such gems in the introduction. And then it says also it prepares you with the relative values. So minimalism is about being intentional about what you allow into your life, thinking about what should be there, and perhaps saying goodbye to certain objects or people that no longer belong. It's important to have a sense of belonging, and sometimes we hoarder and we stay in circumstances when the time is up. So minimalism will teach you to say, you know what, maybe it's time to let go. Maybe it's time to explore other endeavors, you know. And then, however, it's less about the absence of things and more about bringing intentionality into your thinking and into your actions, devising a system of mindfulness for how you choose the things around you. Imagine. Beautiful. So it helps us actually select and be intentional about what we select, what we let into our lives, what we let out, and how we lead our lives in a general sense. And then another aha moment I had was when she said, when our goals align with our values, when the love of the energy and creativity of young children can be combined with the goal of starting a family, when a belief in the merits of hard work can be channeled into building a career, when loyalty and good humor can be directed towards creating a mutually fulfilling life with a partner, the force that's unleashed can be unstoppable. When we form goals that are out of sync with our values, and however, it becomes a bit harder to achieve the progress. So sometimes you may think you're not able to achieve a specific goal, you're not able to achieve certain things, but ask yourself a simple question. Is this aligned with my values? Because many of the times we just chase fame, we chase money, we chase the bag, we chase this, we chase that. But have you asked yourself to say, all of this, does it align with who I am? Does it align with my values? Because if you are misaligned, guys, trust me, I know. If you are misaligned, it's hard for you to produce. It's hard for you to become more of yourself. It's hard for you to achieve anything. So you cannot afford to be misaligned, which is why it's important you need to establish your values, write them down, and see whether the people you work for do align with your values, the friends you have do align with your values, the people you interact with do align with your values. But it's important to establish your values and establish whether or not the choices you make align with your values. Because if you continuously make choices that don't align with your values, you will constantly be unhappy as an individual, right? And then finally in this chapter, don't forget that your most essential duty is to your own well-being, guys. That's your priority. And I see in the world that we currently live in, our priority is pleasing people around us, pleasing people in our workplaces, pleasing our parents and all of that. But we don't understand. We've been given one of the greatest assignments, which is duty to self. You owe it to yourself to look after yourself, to be well, to be healthy, to do all of these things that are important to you, right? And then it says, it is easy to get carried away on a high of dispatching things that bring little value. But don't forget that value comes in many forms. So don't be too quick to have cancel culture or cut things off, right? It's important to sit down, analyze, and evaluate to say, what is this? What value does it bring to me? And also, value is not always materialistic. It's not always money-based and all of that. But sometimes it's within us. You know, what value does this thing make me happy? Does this thing bring me joy? Does this thing develop me as a person? You know, that type of stuff. But don't forget that value comes in many forms. If an object or activity or relationship brings you true pleasure, it has value. Even if your grandmother's wedding pictures don't advance your cause towards a job promotion, they may very well be dear to you, right? While plodding along at the local park will never win you any medals for running, it may well be a source of quiet personal satisfaction after a week tied to your office desk. Minimalism is about doing without unnecessary baggage. But if you find that you are getting rid of things that you truly enjoy, then you are doing it wrong. Minimalism is about the things that we love, the things that we enjoy, the things that we value. Like, for instance, of late I've gotten into the habit of taking walks, right? I take walks after work or in the morning when I get a moment. It's like, yes, it's healthy for me, right? But more, it gives me a sense of peace. It gives me a sense of quiet time. It gives me time to myself, because I've realized that I'm always surrounded by one person or another. So when I take a walk, I get to do it alone. I get to listen to my thoughts. I get to think about the things I've said, the things that I've done. So it's not much of a big deal. Like, it's not going to win me a medal. It's not going to make me the best walker. Walking is not a career, at least as far as I know. But it gives me peace. It gives me satisfaction, and it's a time for me to actually think and reflect, and also I get to have certain creative ideas. Then we go into our first chapter. That was the introductory chapter, right? So we go into a chapter that is titled Work Smarter But Not Harder. Here's the thing. Mary says, tasks, bosses, even jobs all come and go. Guys, here's the thing. Things will come, things will go. That's what you must always remember. But you are not going anyway. Maybe one day you will die, right? But now, when you don't have that job, when you don't have that task, when you don't have that friend, when you're single and all of those things, you have yourself. So it's important to always acknowledge that jobs, bosses, even people come and go. In the end, your greatest commitment is to yourself, and your most meaningful project should be that of giving yourself a fulfilling future, right? And in my journey of reading more, I remember, just to sort of elaborate more on this point on saying giving yourself a good future or fulfilling future, I think it's also important to acknowledge the present. It's important to acknowledge the now. I was reading The Power of Now, right? The Power of Now says it's important that we don't fixate our minds on tomorrow or on yesterday. It's important that we treat now as though this is the only time that we'll ever have in our lives, So yeah, it's very important to understand that in as much as you're preparing for this good future, you're trying to make sure that you have a great future, you're saving, you're working hard and all of that, but also it's important to acknowledge your now, to actually embrace your now and treat it like this is the only time you have, because even the next second is not guaranteed or promised, right? And then another chapter, it's titled Wake Up Your Wallet. I loved this so much. She says the American money guru Dave Ramsey summed up the situation so many of us find ourselves in. We buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't like. Guys, can I just say this again? We buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't like, or people that don't like us. That's the thing. And this is the reality of many of us. I've bought things to impress specific individuals that didn't like me with money I didn't have, individuals that I didn't even like. We find ourselves in these situations. And in the rest of the chapter, she explains that it's important to actually understand why you're buying that particular thing, and also to understand whether or not you can afford it. And once you've bought it, does it make you happy, or you're just going to throw it in your wardrobe or put it in your garage, or you just have it for that glimpse or moment, So it's important to be cautious about how we buy or what we buy. And then we go into another chapter. Oh, it's still the same chapter. Then she says, also it's important that we don't get ourselves in so much debt, guys. Stay away from debt. She says it also means not going into debt to accumulate the essential makers of success. After all, for more and more people, success is defined not by the snazzy new car that you drive, particularly if it was purchased on the back of credit. That's another thing. Success is not surrounded by the materialistic things we attain or achieve, but success has a lot to do with what we think success means. Success for me means I'm able to do a video for Employment Wednesdays, and I'm able to change someone's life, even if it's one person. But I'm actually thinking I'm able to actually change that person's life. That's success for me. Every day when I wake up, I show up at the gym. That's success for me. Every day I choose to eat an apple instead of fries. That's success for me. So you need to have a defining point of success. It's not, yes, there is a part of success that maybe we define as the materialistic things we attain because we need some sort of validation, but it's not all surrounding that, because also success means for me well-rounded wellness, right? It means I'm healthy emotionally, I'm healthy spiritually, I'm healthy mentally, and all of those things, but most of the times we're quick to say, I'm not successful because I don't have that job. I'm not successful because I don't have that car. I'm not successful because I don't have this or that. And that's a wrong way to look at it, right? And Cory will help you see it in a different light, which is why you guys should get this book. And she says, instead, success means living within one's means and focusing on what is actually important in life. Relationships with people, we actually care about. That's another thing. We spend so much time and money trying to please, trying to impress people we don't like, people that don't like us, and we go to bed so unhappy and so sad. And those are things that we can actually control, you know? So, this was a good chapter. And then she comes back again with chapter 3. She says, the truth is, while money isn't everything, having enough money creates the conditions that help other areas of your life develop and grow to their full potential. It feels materialistic to admit it, but without giving consideration to money, it's very difficult for any aspect of our lives to thrive or even survive. Guys, money is important. Not everything surrounds is surrounded, like not everything depends on money, and it's not everything, but money is important because it gives you convenience. It actually opens certain doors that you wouldn't be able to open if you didn't have money, right? And then another aha moment for me in this chapter as I close it off, it says, when the student is ready, the teacher will come. Half the time we think we don't have enough, but we have more than enough. When you are ready and when you go back to God and be like, hey, I'm ready, the teacher will be available. Actually, the teacher is just waiting for you to actually stand up and be like, hey, I don't understand this. Take me along, teach me, and help me understand the concept of life from a different perspective or from a different light. And then I don't want to exhaust the book, guys, because wow, this book is packed. And then also we on chapter 4, clean up your connections, right? It's important that you ask yourself, have you made the mistake of idly liking a friend's status update and continuing to scroll through the rest of your social media feeds instead of fixing a date to go out for coffee, or just picking up the phone and making a call? Try to get into the routine of reaching out to people in your first and second tier groups of friends on a more regular basis, or even send a private message instead of telegraphing your affection by way of liking a social media post. My friend and I we went out for a catch-up lunch, late lunch. We had this conversation on how we built so much perceptions about each other based on social media posts. And thinking about this part of this book actually makes me realize that it's important to not assume that people are okay because of the pictures that they've posted. You know, I know a lot of people, they say to me, they know I'm fine because I'm posting, because I love posting. But sometimes I'm posting and I'm in tears. Sometimes I'm posting and I'm not happy. Sometimes I'm posting and I'm going through the most. And when my friend and I had conversations about certain things we'd been going through in our lives, that we missed each other and we couldn't be there for each other because we were looking at images on social media thinking, oh no, she's happy, oh no, she's okay. You know, and it made us realize that it's important to communicate more. It's important to say, hey, you know, there's a change in behavior. How are you? What's wrong? Is everything okay? When can I meet you? Let's do coffee. And all of that. Sometimes all a person wants to hear is it's okay from the person that they're very close to. Because sometimes we may think, oh no, there's nothing that Yvonne can do about my situation, or I feel like there's nothing that I have to offer to Yvonne. I'm empty. But sometimes all I want to hear from a loved one is, don't worry, it's going to be fine. Or, you are going through this, but you will survive. You'll be a victor, from a person close to my heart. Sometimes all we need is permission and validation from the people that mean everything to us. And if we're not meeting up with them or communicating with them, they may not be able to give us that validation that we need or require. You know, so that is in your chapter 4, clean up your connections. And then let's see what was the highlight of chapter 5. And then also chapter 5 gives you beautiful steps to cut back on social media. Step number 1, take regular day-long break from your devices, right? It's always easy for us to say, I'm going off social media for 30 days. And sometimes we crash, we relapse and all of that. But try and say, actually, today, I'm going to get to the office 9 to 5. I'm going to do everything pertaining to work. I'm not going to go on social media. Then from then, you will start building a habit of actually being less on social media. Number 2, switch off notifications. Guys, I know I'm guilty of this. The moment there's a pop-up message, I always want to attend to it. Whether it's emails, whether it's messages, whether it's a text, I always want to attend to it immediately. And that is not good for our mental health. It's not good because you end up being under unnecessary pressure, right? You end up being under unnecessary pressure because I want you guys to get this book. I have to cut this off. Switch off your notifications and always make sure that you give yourself time to respond to things. Apply yourself. Don't just respond because you just want to get it out of the way. But yeah, do not forget to be loved and light. Do not forget to get this book, Simplify Your Life by Cory. I have to go. I'm so sorry. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to be loved and light. God bless you. Mwah!